Recently, I shared a post on our Facebook page of Joe Rogan's podcast with Dr. Andy Galpin discussing the keto diet. And I commented that as a combat athlete, your primary fuel source will always be carbs because nothing else releases energy fast enough. Now, there are a ton of opinions on this, and I thought in my first dedicated podcast, I'd explain why, with my current level of understanding, I believe this. As with all things, including athletic training, there are trends that come and go, and the trend usually starts for a good reason, but then can become hijacked and used inappropriately, and often then becomes misunderstood. And keto and modified keto diets are low in carbs, high in fat, and they alter the balance of fuels available for energy production in your body, moving away from using mainly glucose, which is carbs, to mainly fat. Now, I'm not saying that keto diets aren't useful and have no place in a fighter's nutritional toolset. In fact, all fighters that have made weight for a day before weigh-in have certainly gone keto. But if you overuse it, you'll change the way your body processes energy and you'll hamper your explosive performance. Muay Thai is an intermittent aerobic alactic sport with some lactic tolerance. And the key here is the alactic part of Muay Thai, the explosive actions while we're striking or defending against strikes, or the strength movements in the clinch. We explode, then we recharge as we circle our opponent looking for the next opportunity to explode at them. And these alactic, explosive, attacking and defending movements need fast energy. If you have to wait for the wrong energy supply, then your performance will suffer. Energy supply is a chemical process, and the time it takes to convert stored energy into ATP for muscle contraction depends on how many steps are needed to do this first. And carbs are just much closer to being ATP than most fats or even proteins. To use one of my daft analogies, imagine you're really hungry and you want food now. Would you A, pick a meal that's frozen and that needs thawing out first before you cook it, then needs cooking before you can eat it? Or B, pick a meal that needs some preparation and cooking before you can eat it? Or C, choose some food that you can just pick up, either already prepared or you can eat raw straight away? As fuel sources, for me, fat is like your frozen food store for long-term storage and slower supply. Protein's more like a meal that needs some prep and cooking first before you can eat it. And carbs is like your pre-prepared food, something you can eat right now. And when your body wants fast, explosive energy to either attack or defend in Muay Thai, it will just get it much quicker from carbs. There's less lag. And carbohydrate is also stored locally in each muscle as glycogen to fuel that specific muscle. Now, glycogen can't move from one muscle to another. Once a muscle's glycogen store is empty because you've used it up, active muscles use glucose from the blood for energy, and that lowers blood glucose levels, meaning there's less to supply your brain, which makes you feel tired, affects your mood, and messes with your concentration. All of that's not great for a fighter whose performance demands high intensity, repeated efforts for about 15 minutes. But if you're doing endurance events that are over 90 minutes or ultra endurance over days, then going keto can train your body to use fat for fuel better, and your rate of work means you'll need less glycogen in the mix too. And it does seem that your brain can use MCT oil or medium chain triglycerides for fuel too. That's just a funky name for fatty acids found in coconut and palm oils. But to be of use to the brain, these fatty acids need to be the type with 10 carbon chains called C10. There's a great guy I've worked with called Ian Couch who's taking this to the extreme in a Booking.com sponsored televised trek across Namibia in southwest Africa. The team of 3 will be hiking, jogging and running unaided over a marathon each day for 15 days straight. And speaking to Ian, he's fed his body a keto diet in preparation for this, and his provisions he's taken with him are very much keto too. And this prep plan came about as a result of Ian's organisation of teams rowing the Atlantic, where he noticed that the teams using a keto diet finished in much better physical shape than those on a higher carb diet. And that's fascinating stuff. But all of that being said, for fighting athletes looking to burn super bright for about 15 minutes, a longer term keto diet will negatively affect your performance, not only in the fight but in training too. Because if you're not able to build sufficient overload in your repeated power movements in training, you're not progressing your body and making your body adapt efficiently. And keto diets have a place for fighters in managing body composition and cutting weight for a fight in that last week, but only for short periods of time only. For me, overusing it is a flawed approach. you just become a slower rate fat burning animal. So that's all we've got time for now. I hope you've enjoyed our first dedicated podcast, and if you've got any questions, suggestions, or just want to check out our library of free articles and videos, head over to heatrick.com. That's Heatrick, where I'd love to help you reach your Muay Thai goals. Catch you soon.